Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsay Huddleston with SPS back in the building for another SPS Monday Motivation. That's right, Memorial Day edition. Happy day off. And salute to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for the United States. Many of us have served, but those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. I met a veteran one time, and I was telling him that, yeah, when I went to the Marines, I was a reserve. He said, listen, you did like everybody. You gave the government a blank check for your body, and you were willing to make that sacrifice. And to be honest, when I chose to go, I was looking at all those things. That was the state of mind. But with that being said, happy Memorial Day. That is the reason why many of you are off today and probably can hear this message. There may be some people who normally can't hear the Monday motivation. So, hey, this is for you. And what is today's topic? They act up when you level up. That's right. They act up when you level up. I found a great image of this, and I think this is a good look right here. You see the level up? Yeah, we talk about that level up, right? But let's talk about what happens en route to that, right? Today's message is about growth, evolution, and resistance. Ironically, growth and evolution are two different things. I just looked those words up the other day when having a conversation, and it's really important. But also the resistance part. Who is this on a Memorial Day holiday? Good morning, Michelle Mimi Watkins. So good to see you. Warm my heart when I see you pop in the morning. Good morning. Happy Memorial Day. Talking about they act up when you level up, right? Growth and evolution don't come without resistance from people or the universe. I think that's important to understand. It's not just individuals sometimes, it's the actual universe. You're like, man, I ain't did nothing to nobody. Why does the universe treat me like that? But we'll talk about that. The power of leveling up. That's right. You want to talk about the power of leveling up? Who guys remember this game? Get your Super Mario ball. You make that sign. I'm not going to make that sign again, right? When you level up, you get that power, right? And that's important. But let's even define acting up. To act up, meaning if a person, especially a child, acts up, they are behaving badly. The children always act up at home in holidays, huh? Right, right. Also, too, act up, to misbehave, to not work properly, right? That's what happens from with people in the universe. And as we know, it's not just kids or some adult kids, if that's such a thing, right? When you grow and evolve, your energy shifts. You begin showing up differently. Once heard someone say, the road to a millionaire is not about the money you make that change you, it's the person you have to become, the things you have to do. And as you level up in this society, as you level up in this world and in this universe, it's the things that you actually go through, how you change individually that get you that outcome, right? You start speaking more confidently, right? You start setting boundaries. Let's go back to speaking more confidently. You start talking about your goals or speaking in a way that's specific to your goals that may be different from what people may have used to have heard from you. Start setting boundaries. I'm reminded of that scene in Malcolm X when Shorty being Spike Lee, I know he happy the Knicks won last night, showed up at the mosque to see the converted brother Malcolm X, and they talked about going in the back and doing some drugs or doing whatever. And no, don't do that now. Don't do that now. And you have someone that may have been used to experiencing you a certain way, and you're doing something different. And that's because you're what? You're pursuing your purpose. Yeah, that's still such a thing, right? You're pursuing your purpose. You're trying to get that in which you've been working towards and trying to gain that, right? That shift that you go through that I'm talking about, it does not go unnoticed, right? The shift doesn't go unnoticed. And what happens is when you start doing that, you start to get resistance from others. Like I say, the shift doesn't go unnoticed, and everyone will not celebrate. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part about leveling up, because people that you would probably want or expect to support you, sometimes they don't. That's just the reality. Family, friends, and in most cases, there's always a surprise. The person you expected maybe to support you the most doesn't, and the person you least expect it will. That's how life is, right? But you get that resistance from others, and that can be tough, right? People may act up when they see you level up because of a number of things. It's your growth that highlights their stagnation. When you making moves, y'all started at the same spot, or maybe you started behind them, whatever it may be, and you making moves, that highlights their stagnation when they look at things, right? Who we got right here? Michelle says, people evolve like we're supposed to. And I think that's one thing we're missing, Michelle. We miss the fact that we are supposed to evolve. And I think that gets us in a point where we feel that we shouldn't move on, we shouldn't be a certain way, and it just gets us out of our comfort zone. That's a constant thing that we have. You're absolutely right when you say that. Also, you no longer fit the version of you they were comfortable with. Uh-oh. Made me stir in my seat. You no longer fit the version of you they were comfortable. They were comfortable when you was minimum. They was comfortable when you was just like this. But when you start making those moves, when you hit that corner, when you start talking about leveling up, right? Huh? When you start talking about going somewhere with it, they didn't like that. They didn't like that. They were comfortable with the version of you from before. But then you start doing things differently, right? Also, psychological term, that cognitive dissonance, right? That goes back to 1957. Your changes create discomfort in their mindset. See, this becomes psychological. Just you changing as a person creates discomfort for them because now their brain is like, what's going on? He's not like that. She's not like that anymore. What's happening? And then let's talk about the other part. Let's get away from these humans. Let's talk about the universe. You get resistance from the universe. That's the God body in you disrupting things. Leveling up also triggers resistance from life itself, right? You get delays, you get detours, you get doubts that arise. All these other things start coming up, right? This has nothing to do with an individual you can point to, right? It starts like, man, what's going on? Why is that? Because the universe tests if you're ready for what you ask for. The universe is testing. Do you really want it? Do you really want to get it how you want to say? I just experienced something like that. And I'll talk more about it in the weeks to come, maybe the months to come. But, something I'm saying that I want, there was a detour with it. And I had to sit back and I had to still be in the spot. I grew from it. But the universe will test if you're ready for what you ask for. We say a lot of stuff, but are we really ready for it? And what's the psychological impact? Homeostasis. The systems resist change to maintain stability. That's just the reality. Systems like, we don't want to change because we're so used to doing things a certain way, right? So you got to understand the challenge. That's part of it. And I want to emphasize that. I'm not saying leveling up is going to be easy. It can be easy for you to say it, but there's another challenge that comes with it. Got my brother Kevin Marshall coming from Mr. and Mrs. Marshall podcast. He said, good morning, my friend. Good morning, brother. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for your service as well. We talk about those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and that's why we're celebrating them today. Understand that challenge that comes with it. The friction isn't failure. It's confirmation. Ooh, that friction isn't failure that you're receiving. It's confirmation to let you know what's happening, right? Also, you're disrupting a pattern. There's this pattern that you probably have been on for so long, or whether it's individuals who can't respond well to it, or it's actually the universe not responding well to it. You're disrupting a pattern, something that you may be doing. You may be working out more. You may be eating healthy. You may be, drinking less. Madeline and I went to see Lilo and Stitch yesterday. And there was a part where the aliens, and I don't want to give too much away, talk about it. And these humans, they drink celebratory poison. I was like, that's true. But you may stop drinking the celebratory poison. All these other things that we're talking about. Who we got right here? You got my brother says, thank you to my brother. Thank you too. Thank you, brother. Dwayne Willie represent. Happy Memorial Day, good brother. What's up, brother? How you been, man? I saw you doing a move somewhere. You were showing somebody how to get down. I saw you online getting a happy Memorial Day to you, brother. We're talking about they act up when you level up, Dwayne. Growth activates psychological reactions in others. People resist what threatens their sense of control, right? That recompense in others. And people resist what threatens their sense of control. Oh, man, talk about it. Middle management in America is crazy, right? You start changing, you start leveling up, you start showing signs of growth, right, that you're evolving, and this threatens their people's sense of control that they have of you. Oh, man, I can't really control them like I wanted to. And that's just a horrible thing. Why are you trying to control somebody? You should be trying to just uplift people. But people can't do that if they don't have the capacity to do it within themselves, right? So don't take it personally. That's hard. That's tough. Because sometimes taking things personally is our only motivation. But don't take it personal. It's business, right? Remove yourself from that. That's, hey, don't let the water in the boat. That's last week, right? We talked about that. Don't let the water in the boat. Don't take it personal. I know you can take notes, but don't take it personal, right? Also, their reaction isn't always about you. It's about what you represent. And I know that's tough because you are the living embodiment of what you represent. But yeah, so that's a tough thing because you represent so many things that are difficult for them to realize. You represent change. There's a change in what's coming. You represent progress. You're making moves out here, right? Also, you represent accountability because you're taking accountability for yourself to move forward. So with that being said, you become more a mirror of their unhealed and underdeveloped self. You become a mirror of their unhealed and underdeveloped self. Seeing you level up makes them look at themselves and be like, dang, I ain't where I need to be. or I got some other things I need to work on. So that's why you get that resistance. That's why you get those challenges. So, it's about keeping it moving. So what you got to do, you got to keep going anyway. That's right. And that's tough because sometimes people's response will make us kind of wilt a little bit, make us kind of shrink a little bit, and say, oh, no, you got to keep going anyway, right? Growth is for the bold. You want to grow? You say you want to grow. That's a bold statement. That's a bold thing to do. And that's what growth is a part of. Growth is for the bold, and also evolution is for the brave. You dare be what you used to be. I got to challenge myself with that sometimes to be able to evolve because we get so used to being a certain way. We don't want to move on and do anything different. So what are some tips I can give you guys going forward as we wrap this up? Some mental strength tips, right? You could stay grounded, right? Stay grounded and rooted. That can come in a number of ways, whether it's your prayer life, it's meditation. Just take some time to be with yourself. Today may be that day. If it's a Memorial Day and you off work, and you're not running around, just stay grounded, and keep that going. Also, reflect often. Reflect on where you've been, from whence you've come, the things you've overcame, right? So many things, right? Meditate and breathe. I talked about that. Take some time to meditate and breathe, right? Also, keep these healthy boundaries. You got to keep boundaries out here to say, no, that's too much, cuz. No, I got to back up. No, that doesn't really work for me, okay? Also, you can journal your journey. Take some notes and write some things down. I've been always writing in the morning my affirmations and my, other things that make me feel a certain way when I go forward. And here we go again. Another affirmation is, I am not responsible for how others respond to my growth. I repeat that. I am not responsible for how others respond to my growth. We say, hey, that's your business. That's not my business. I don't have nothing to do with that. How you respond to my growth, I don't have nothing to do with that. So many times we respond to how they respond. Oh, they don't like it, so it has a negative impact on us. I'm not responsible for how you respond to my growth. I'm going to keep it moving. Hopefully you'll support it. If you don't, I'm going to keep it moving, right? You got to. So what's the call to action? The last thing I want to share with you guys is this. This week, recognize that resistance and rise above it. Recognize the resistance that's out there, and you got to rise above it. You got to be with my brother Dwayne say, preach. I love it when my brother get down like that. That's what I got for you guys today on this Monday Motivation. They act up when you level up. So if they start acting up, it's only a recognition of you leveling up. And sometimes you won't even know where it's coming from. It may be the universe. So don't doubt yourself. Keep pushing. We are made to evolve and grow and move on and add new things to our lives and add new aspects to what we're doing and really be able to do those things that we've dreamt about. I want to wish you guys nothing but the best on this Memorial Day. Again, thank you for those who served and gave the ultimate sacrifice, those who supported those who served, and those who serve and are still here to talk about it today. With that being said, this is Lindsay Hulls with SPS. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.